Welcome to Star Sounds, the radio program where we look at the stars over Long Island Sound. I'm your host, Joel Marks, and my co-host is
Isa Mensch.
And we are here today to tell you what you can see in the night sky during the month of October. Actually, it is nighttime as we are recording this episode. What's going on, Isa?
Well, we're with the Morrises, our friends, and we're going to Hammonasset, and we're going to see Jupiter and Saturn.
Let's remind our listeners that we are recording this at night so that we can be on scene for the actual stars and planets that we are going to describe to you. And this is the last day of September when we are recording this, but what we say will be appropriate for the entire month of October because we are heading out late enough at night in September so that the skies that we see will be comparable to the earlier evening skies of October. So, Isa, what is it that we expect to see tonight and that our listeners can see in October when they look up at night on a clear night?
We're going to see Jupiter and Saturn.
Okay, and whereabouts are they going to be in the sky in the first part of the evening?
They're going to be low on the horizon, and Jupiter is going to be a lot brighter than Saturn, and Saturn is going to be sort of upper right than Jupiter.
That's right. Now, actually, at the beginning of October, they won't be rising until a few hours after sunset. But, of course, sunset is getting earlier all the time, so that won't be too much of a burden. And by the end of the month, by Halloween, they're going to be rising just an hour and a half, I think, after sunset. And furthermore, sunset is going to be 2 hours earlier at the end of October than it is at the beginning. Why is that, Isa?
Because there's daylight saving, the ends of daylight savings time.
Yeah, that's gonna smack us right on the 29th, I believe, and also just because it's that season of the year when the nights are getting longer, and so you put those two together, and you get that incredible loss of daylight. But of course, the advantage for stargazers, especially young ones, is that they can stay out longer watching the stars at night. And then those planets will be up all night, and you can watch them get higher in the south. They rise in the east, of course, and higher in the south, and then they set... we won't see them be setting this month. They'll still be in the southwest when dawn comes. Well, we're also with some other folks here tonight, including Krista. Hi, Krista.
Hi.
And we've actually got a telescope with us on our trek out here to Hammonasset. What do you think we're going to point that telescope at, Krista?
Well, we wanted to see Jupiter and Saturn, especially with its rings.
Yeah. Have you seen those before through a telescope?
I've seen both of them, but we just got a higher magnifying lens that now we can see them bigger.
Okay. How about you, Isa? Have you ever seen the Jupiter and Saturn through a telescope?
Well, I've only seen things from a telescope once when I think I was 4, and I'm not even sure what I saw, but I saw something.
Okay, well, this could be a great night then. I'm going to record your oohs and ahs when you see Saturn's rings through a telescope for the first time, and maybe also the 4 Galilean moons of Jupiter. And it's looking great. We have now arrived at Hammonasset, and we are driving right towards, I believe that's Perseus, the constellation Perseus. And oh my God, it is just so beautiful. Let's have some oohs and ahs, everybody. Ooh. Okay, we need an ah.
Ah.
All right. And a wow. Oh, say it again.
Ooh, this is so nice.
We are outside now, and this is cool.
Is this the milk? Sorry, I just got hit by the microphone.
My mistake.
Is that the Milky Way? Because it seems like between the stars there's like white stuff.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it. Oh my! And well, we have to be a little more explicit than this for our listeners, don't we? What are we seeing? We are seeing. Oh, one thing we're going to be able to see really well tonight is the Andromeda Galaxy, which is the furthest object visible to the naked eye. How far away is it? You know, Isa?
Here, this and this.
2 million light years away.
Give or take, right? And and it's just unbelievable that we can see it. But as soon as we move over to a slightly darker spot here, we do have this one light in this entire huge park of Hammonasset. There's one light, and it's still in our way now. But we're gonna trek on over behind the trees and set up a telescope and do some more oohing and ahhing and everything. But the fact that it's 2 million light years away means what else, Isa? Do you know?
Well, that means that it took 2 million years so the light could get into our eyes.
Yeah, and therefore
It could be dead by now. The star could have exploded.
Well, it's not just a star. It's about 100 billion stars, and I don't think they've gone out of existence in the last 2 million years. But the point is, what we're seeing is actually in the past. We're literally looking with our eyes at something which is 2 million years in the past. We're time traveling with our eyes.
Time machine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I think that Krista is reacting to the Milky Way. Where is it, Krista?
It's right overhead, going straight from...
One side of the sky to the other. Yeah, it is right overhead. It is going across the whole sky from, let's see, where's the North Star? Okay, you follow the ends of the Big Dipper up. There's the North Star. And so that means that we're seeing the Milky Way go from about a little east of north, then over the zenith, the top of the sky, and then going all the way down to, I guess that would be west of south on the other end. Of course, it depends on the time of night. And what time is it anyway?
About between 9 and 9:30.
Okay, so...
Krista can tell you exactly.
Aha.
It is 9:25.
Okay.
53 seconds.
Okay, so that means the next time that our viewers would have a good chance of spotting the Milky Way would be near the end of October, when once again it's a new moon. In other words, there's no moon out. And so by then it would be about, let's see, I guess would be an hour, 2 hours. Yeah. Given the time change and everything, blah, 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 it'll be a lot earlier. To summarize, it'll be a lot earlier in the evening, that if they do get to a very dark site near the, let's say the last full week of October, and clouds permitting, of course, they will be able to see a beautiful expanse of Milky Way.
1 minute, it's like really bright, and then it sort of like dies down.
Now, what are you looking at now?
Some really bright star.
Right
I think
at the top.
Is it Vega?
It is Vega. It's clearly Vega.
I remember
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the lot. No, that's the bird right there.
Well, there's two birds. There's the eagle, Aquila, and the swan, Cygnus.
Oh, that's Cygnus, because that's Deneb, and that's Altair with the eagle, and then that's Vega with the Lyra. Right?
Right, in Lyra, the lyre, yeah. But you're telling the truth, of course. And the two birds, they're flying right through the Milky Way. Do you see that? Right across the top of the sky. They're flying towards each other. Yep. Right? And what else do we have? Oh, just so many delectable sights up here. And now the Big Dipper over in the northerly direction there is right side up. It's very low. Yeah, very low on the horizon. But that makes it look larger, doesn't it? Just like that moon illusion you were talking about. Both of you had remarked that you had seen very large moons lately. Where did you see that moon you were talking about, Isa?
Over the summer when I was in Poland.
Yeah.
It was in the country, and it was just like, well, what I saw, it would be like about like an inch above the horizon. I mean, I know it wouldn't really be.
But it looked like it was an inch.
And it was huge. It was like a quarter, or like bigger. Okay, I know these
A
are...
quarter seen very close to your eyeball, right? And Krista, you were explaining why it appears to be so huge when it's close to the horizon?
Well, I thought that it appeared to be big. It seems that it's getting smaller when it goes overhead because it doesn't have anything to compare to, like the trees.
Yeah, that might be the reason. But tonight, we don't have the moon, and we purposely didn't want to have the moon in the sky tonight because we don't want it to blot out all these stars, and especially the Milky Way. So let's try to get to a darker site now, darker part of the park here, and then we will resume our commentary. You are listening to Star Sounds. We're broadcasting on WNHU-West Haven 88.7 FM. I'm your host, Joel Marks, and my co-host is...
Isa Mensch.
And this is a pre-recorded program at the end of September on a lovely, clear, warmish, I would say, evening. And what we're going to describe in the sky tonight will be visible a little earlier in the evening for all of October. Okay, now check out what happens when I point this flashlight up at the stars, up at the night sky. Look at that, guys.
That's so cool. You can actually like see the light on the sky.
Yeah. So it's just like being in a planetarium, right? You can.
Yeah.
I mean, you folks listening, you just get a nice, ordinary flashlight. The stronger the better, I suppose, but an ordinary one will do. And if you go to a really dark site, you can just point it straight up and point out the things you're talking about to other people, because otherwise when you're saying, oh, look at that star there, nobody knows which one you're talking about. But you can just point it out just as if you were in a planetarium using a plain, ordinary flashlight. Go ahead.
But you might think that it wouldn't work because you'd think that it would make the light from the stars sort of go away. But it wouldn't, because the light from the stars is coming into your eyes and the light from the flashlight is going towards the stars, so they don't sort of like, make it.
I never thought about that. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I always wondered why is if you shine a flashlight that you can see the light, because the light is being forced in one direction. Does it bounce off something and come back to your eye?
Yeah, I think that's got to be the explanation. Probably the only reason we can see the flashlight beam is that parts of it are, hitting particles in the air, I suppose, and bouncing back into our eyeballs. Exactly.
On the Andromeda...
Yes, we are now about to locate the Andromeda Galaxy. So what were you saying, Krista?
Well, is the Andromeda Galaxy right above the second bottom point of the W in Cassiopeia?
Well, it's not right below it. The easiest way, I think, to find the Andromeda Galaxy is to find the Great Square of Pegasus. And Okay, then the Great Square, which actually looks like a diamond in this orientation, has a kind of a tail. In fact, the diamond could be thought of as a big kite. And so there's this long tail of the kite. And, a meteor. All right. Okay. So then there's this, so you go to the second star on the tail, and I'm pointing this out now with the flashlight. Then you go up to a perpendicular to the tail coming off of the square of Pegasus. You go up to a fainter star, and then an equal distance to an even fainter star, and then just off to the upper right of that is a little smudge in the sky, and that is the Great Andromeda Galaxy, which is pretty much a twin galaxy to the Milky Way galaxy in which we live. And now we're going to attempt to point the telescope at that so we can see the smudge as a bigger smudge. Actually, the best way to see the Andromeda Galaxy, even when you have perfectly dark viewing conditions, is to look at it out of the corner of your eye, because at night the more sensitive, light-sensitive cells on the retina are the ones that are on the periphery of the back of the eyeball. And so if you don't stare at something, if you slightly turn away from it and look at something from the corner of your eye, it will kind of pop out at you at night. Oh, and look near the horizon there. Do you see that little clump of very faint stars, Isa and Krista, over there? Do you see where I'm pointing with the flashlight? Do you see that little clump? That it looks kind of like a tiny dipper, a very tiny, tiny dipper of very faint stars. That is the, well, like a kite again, yes. That is the Pleiades, the so-called seven sisters. Can you count 7 stars there? It's pretty hard to see it. But where the Pleiades are, you know what? I think we've got, yes we do, there is Saturn and there is Jupiter. Yes, 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 they are coming up from the horizon right now, and we'll give them another hour or so that we can then, they'll be high enough that we can point the telescope to.
Wow.
Yeah.
I found it, the Andromeda Galaxy. Look. It's just right now, it's a smudge.
That's all it'll ever be, but take a look. What do you see?
Whoa! It's just like this big, bright cloud of light. That's amazing.
Coming to you from 2 million light years away. What do you see, Isa?
Wow, there's like all these million stars and like in the middle, it's like...
Can you count them? Yeah, in the middle what?
There's like this thing, it's like a cloud, and it's just like really bright.
And
Well,
you know, that's what our galaxy would look like to an astronomer in the Andromeda Galaxy if they were looking this way.
If there are any.
Oh, well, there's probably teams of people, astronomers, don't you think, in the Andromeda Galaxy? Must be.
There's a lot of space out there. It's hard to imagine there wouldn't be others.
Okay, now we're shifting over to see Saturn through the telescope, and I can't wait till Isa here gets her first view of the rings of Saturn, because all the rest of us here have seen Saturn through a telescope before, but this will be Isa's first chance. How old are you, Isa?
11, and I'm going to be 12 in November.
Okay, well, you will be able to tell your great-grandchildren that you saw Saturn for the first time with your naked, well, no, not naked eye, through the telescope, but in real time, live, not just a picture, you know, really in the sky, when you were 11 years old. And I'm also now waiting for Donna, who is womaning the telescope, to also emit an exclamation when she first sets her eye through the viewfinder on Saturn. She's still looking for it. Yes, Isa.
Jupiter's coming out of the clouds, I think.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Jupiter's
but-
still low on the horizon, but it's coming out of the clouds.
But I wanted to say that by the time, like, I have grandchildren, they're probably going to be able to see it when they're, like, through a camera. Because it'll be so high-tech then.
You know, you're absolutely right. In fact, they might even be born on one of the moons of Saturn, for all we know, right?
It's
Donna has located Saturn.
and you can see the separation, you can see the ring, and you can see the separation, and then the planet in between, in the middle.
Okay.
And I got to readjust it because on this telescope it's moving very quickly. So let me just readjust it so that...
Yes, that's the Earth's motion, which makes things through the telescope appear to be moving very rapidly because it is such a small field of view.
You might have to adjust the...
Oh, wow. That is so cool. It looks like an eye. The white parts of, like, the Saturn actually being its, like, pupil, and then the white part on the outside is... Wow, that's really cool.
Oh, that's a neat description, Krista. And I think Isa is eagerly awaiting her first look, and here she goes.
Okay, am I looking?
Right, Lisa, look, right,
Drum roll, please.
Oh, yeah, it's like, what?
might have to adjust.
Sometimes it, like, goes black.
Yeah, you might have to see right here, your eyes, see this? No, take your hand. Right here, this is the adjustment. No, right there. Yeah, and turn it slightly because your eyes might just need a different adjustment.
Oh, that's...
so that you can get it.
What?
Go very slowly, just so that it's going to be small, but you have to get the fine adjustment to be able to see the separation of the rings from the planet.
I don't know where it
Okay,
is.
let me look again.
Okay.
Okay.
It might have moved. It's moved
Might have
very
moved.
quickly. Oh, no wonder you couldn't see it. It moved.
Isa is
Okay.
moving in for her second attempt to see Saturn for the first time.
Your eyes just gonna separate.
That's so cool.
What does it look like?
It looks like in the pictures. It's like a dot and there's like rings around it. That's so cool. It's like moving to the edge of the telescope.
To the viewfinder, yeah. And now I am going to move in to take a look myself, and I haven't seen the rings of Saturn in quite a while, and there. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, it's a tiny, tiny little. It does look like a picture. Tiny, tiny little image. It is perfect. There is, I say whitish, yellowish globe, and then that beautiful ring, and there's a gap between the ring and the globe, and it's moving so quickly. Again, what we're seeing here, now it's out of my view, we're seeing the actual rotation of the Earth as we look at a distant object in the sky through a telescope, which has a very narrow field of view. And I'm speaking in such hushed tones because it is almost a sacred experience. You are listening to Star Scenes on WNHU-West Haven, 88.7 FM. I'm your host, Joel Marks, and my co-host is...
Isa Mensch.
And we are out here at Hammonasset Park on a beautiful evening at the end of September, looking at a magnificent sky, including the Milky Way, because there is no moon up now. It's close to the new moon. And everything is just showing off its beauty. And we even have a telescope with us tonight, and we have just seen Saturn, and now the telescope is trained on the Pleiades, the so-called Seven Sisters, a beautiful little grouping of stars that during the month of October, when you are listening to this broadcast, will be visible in the vicinity of Saturn, just above it, and let's see, probably to the left, I think, when you will be listening to this. And meanwhile, brilliant Jupiter is to their lower left. The planets and also the Pleiades are rising in the east several hours after sunset near the beginning of October, and just about an hour and a half after sunset at the end of October. And of course, at the end of October, sunset itself will be so much earlier, so these objects will be very well placed for early evening viewing by young and old alike. And now, oh my goodness, everything's happening at once here. Aldebaran, which is a beautiful reddish star, is now twinkling on the eastern horizon as it rises. And it forms kind of an isosceles triangle with Jupiter on the bottom left and Saturn on the top right. And now we have Jupiter in the telescope. And Donna, can you see the moons of Jupiter as well, the 4 Galilean moons?
At the moment, can't see the 4 right now.
Okay, well, 3 is better than none. These are called Galilean moons because Galileo himself saw them. I guess he was the first human being to see them because he was the first to point a spyglass at the sky, so far as we know anyway, and to do it in a systematic way and record what he saw. Jupiter has many, many, many moons, but it's just these 4 that you can readily see through a modest-sized telescope. And now Isa is looking at Jupiter. What do you see?
It looks like a yellow moon, sort of. But you can, like, see all these different colors because it's, like, so bright. Like, on the edge, it's, like, red, and then it's, like, purpley blue. Then in the middle, it's just, like, light, you know?
Do you see any bands on it?
Out, sorry.
Did it have stripes on it?
I don't think the
I don't think so, but
Okay, so maybe we can't quite get those. Also, Jupiter's still fairly low on the horizon, so we have all of the Earth's atmosphere here to penetrate to get a view of it. And what do you see, Krista, as you're looking at Jupiter through the telescope?
It's so bright that you can just see kind of streams of light coming out from it.
And so it goes, but it's time to wrap up another episode of Star Sounds. Isa Minch and I invite you back on the first Thursday of each month when we will review what you can see in the night sky during that month. And I would like to remind our listeners that the opinions and comments expressed on Student Scene are not necessarily those of the staff or management of the University of New Haven or of WNHU.